Right, okay. Let's see what the delay's like now. I'm going to do this. V for victory. Yay. Right, okay. It appears that we are back. For some reason, I was on the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and it was crawling. I've just switched to the 5 on this laptop and everything seems to have picked up. So hopefully we can continue. Right, so cross our fingers. Everything seems okay by here. I don't want to have too many things open, but I'll try and put this in a little window so I can at least sort of monitor it. As weird as that might sound. And we'll jump back in the game then. Right, so round 2. There we go. All right. And I used to work for Virgin Media. It's terrible. They should treat me with respect. Right, so just jump on the server. Right. And we want that and that. Oh, I did. Why is it not typing now? Ah, there we go. Did I spell that right? Well, I normally am smooth as silk. Especially when I put my dark voice on. Yeah. I don't know if I told you before, I told the other streamers, when I used to work in Virgin Media, if I had a cold, my voice would drop down a bit lower, and I couldn't get rid of female customers. They would just wanted to listen to this Barry White voice, you know. Right, here we are. It looks like it's okay. So yeah, as I was explaining earlier, I want to give people a welcome when they arrive in the server. So I've been setting up this building using one of my main characters, who I don't intend on playing, right? But what we got here is a couple of basic rules. Guest beds upstairs. Still bad lighting in here. Take what you need and top up supplies if you can. Nice and simple. And then we got some supplies around the back here. Really basic stuff. Wood, stone, resin, leather, berries, and now honey. And mushrooms. Alright. And then going up here, we've got the actual guest bedrooms. Or beds. With a personal chest behind each one. But this is going to be an honor system. Right, unfortunately. But if you need a bed, there's one here until you establish yourself somewhere else on the map, sort of thing. Because it's going to be up to you how you play the game. You know, you can live in a community village or whatever, or you can just go off on your own and do your own thing. But this is the basic welcome cottage, then we'll say. And that's what I sort of started setting up last night, and then I spent some time on it this morning. I don't rightly know what's out there. I've had a quick look, you know, on the... Why does it feel like that keeps resetting, that map does? That's something I'm going to have to look into. Seems every time I come back to this map, it sort of like wipes itself clean. Must be a setting. Because earlier on I explored a huge chunk of this. Right. Okay. Yeah, something so that's one thing there. We've figured out there's one thing that we need to sort out. Why the map resets. It should be saving the map. But yeah, from what I've seen of the map, we're on pretty much a large island. Mirror seed. Okay, right. I did temporarily. I can get rid of it, but I did temporarily put it on my private thing just to see if it. Well, just to get the seed out of it, really. Because if you put it on your private game, the seed shows up, and then I copied the seed out. You know, but I could get rid of that. Maybe that'll sort it out. But that's easy enough. I just got to go into a folder and get rid. But yeah, yesterday my son, I feel sorry for him. He put a lot of effort. He had set up Linux at the same time. He was trying to set up FreeNAS for our media stuff. And then inside FreeNAS, he was trying to set up a Docker, which this is running inside a Docker at the moment. If you understand any of that jargon, I barely understand it myself. But basically, a dock is like a virtual instance inside your computer. So if anybody was broke out of the game inside that Docker, then they'd be isolated from everything else. So it's relatively safe. But there we go. So here we are. Nice pleasant day. We'll just go again wandering, and we'll get some more leather. I'm not going to kill the deer. I'm only going to kill the boars because I don't want a huge supply of deer hides for the new starts. That's up to them to get deer. I'll give them enough for like a few leather scraps and stuff, and some meat to cook. Let me just tap it. I can close my one now. Now that it's working okay, or appears to be working okay, I'll close that one. So there's less drag on my side of the internet. But yeah, poor thing. I stressed him out because I promised the community that we would have this up and running, and it just felt like he was just coming up with excuse after excuse. And I was like getting grumpier and grumpier, But they weren't excuses, they were genuine roadblocks on his way to achieving what I wanted, But he waddled through, he had some food, refreshed his brain. And we got this, I think, up and running at about 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. So it wasn't too bad. And I know it's my community. Yeah, I know. Yeah, nothing like working to a deadline. Yeah, I work better under pressure. I honestly do. If you lie to me, right, in the sense that if you knew you had a fortnight for a project to be done, and you said to me, "Oh, we need it done in a week," I would do it on day 6, but it would get done. I would be last minute, but it would get done. I would stay up all night. I just work better. My brain's on fire when I'm like last minute. But then you'd still have a weekend to check it out. But just don't tell me the truth. I think it harkens back with me to school. I don't know if you ever remember the O-levels and CSEs and whatnot. But English used to be, for me anyway, write a 550-word essay. Why 550? I don't know. It's always 550. Right? And in the mornings, we would have registration. Where you'd, yes, miss, and all that. Right? And I would literally, in that 10-minute registration, write my 550-word English essay. And I would still pass. It wouldn't be an A. It might sometimes be a B, and most often it was a C, because it wasn't my best. But it would be enough for me to get by. And that's what I even wrote that sort of thing on my CV once. I put up at the heading, Jack of all trades but master of none. And then the next line was, but is that necessarily a bad thing? At the end of the day, you could spend hours or days trying to find a specialist to do the job, in which time I could have probably got it up and running and working in the same time, but just not to the same standard, but it would work. It would get the job done. And then the reverse of that, I was doing my diploma, my DipHE in youth work, and I gave myself that fake deadline of like a month early, and I stuck to it, and when I handed in, I had an A+. And then one of my colleagues who was doing the same course, she was like, I think she had an A- or something, and she quit the course because she thought it was a downward trend for her. All right, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, a couple of times I've been involved in magazines. When I was a community development officer, I set up a community magazine, oddly enough, in the area I now live in. I learned a lot of lessons from that. One of them was getting the local businesses to advertise and such like. But I also used to get like the local health board. They'd be interested in like dropping pamphlets in the area, and I'd say, tell you what, give me 3,000 of those pamphlets. That's my circulation with my magazine. Give me 600 quid, and I'll deliver them. And that 600 quid would basically pay for that magazine for that month. But yeah, and then after I did that for a couple of years, then I went to Virgin Media, and they heard that I had done magazines in the past, and it was like, oh, we think they're doing an in-house staff magazine, and I ended up getting volunteered. Oh yeah, the hustle was good with that. Any local authority, if needed to touch point with the community, I'd be their point. I would obviously charge them for it, which is fair enough. They got wallets. But it would cover the cost of my magazine. Another thing I used to do when I was out in the community was linking people with other services. Like, there was a group, like YTS, the good old days of youth training programs. Well, after that died, they still had skilled training programs, we'll call them, right, where young people would learn a trade. And basically, they were outside the backyard of this, like, depot or whatever, building brick walls and then knocking them back down, and then build another brick wall and then knock it back down. Or hang a door on a door frame and then destroy the door frame and put another door frame and then hang another door. And they'd be doing this, or they'd be painting at the back end of a wall white. And I had, like, community centres in my community that I was working in that needed a lick of paint. Or I identified a pavement that had some wobbly slabs. So I went to that group and I said, look, I got jobs in my community that need to be done. There are elderly people that would appreciate not having to fall over when they're walking along a path. There's another bunch that would love to have a nice fresh lick of paint in their community centre because it's peeling off the walls. So that's what we did. They said, as long as you don't care about the colour, we'll do it. So we had them ferrying out young people with paintbrushes or cement and whatnot, and they tarted up the community for us for free. And they also gained them valuable experience. I think we did give them cups of tea, But that's the way you do it. Identify a need and then identify somebody who's willing to do it for nothing. And that's the way I worked. When I was out in Gosine and working, I started off out there and I went in as like a community officer / admin, but my primary role was to move the community project away from the council and become private. And part of that endeavour was I had to find somebody to manage the project, basically finding somebody who's above me in my job. And the end result of that one was, after I got him got the person in place and got the funding secured and whatnot, he basically said, okay, well, we've only got funding for my wage, bye-bye. You know, but there we go. That's the way it is sometimes. But yeah, I love doing that job. It was great, but it was stressful in that you also could never switch off to it, because if you lived in the community you were working in as well, that doesn't go well. But at the same time, you were like the last point on everything. So when you organise a community event like a carnival or something, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, have I organised the first aid with the St. John's yet? Have I got insurance for public liability covered? And all that sort of stuff. Oh, right, anyway. Let us focus on this community that we are building on my brand spanking new server. Right, let's tell you what we'll do. We'll spur out, we'll head north, right? We'll just try and explore the map a little bit. Right, there we are. We got some water over there. We got a couple of buildings. Right, so we'll head north, just to give people a sort of a sense of the place. But yeah, hopefully, I won't say today, because I was saying I'm going out twice today later on, and I want to give my boy a breather from doing this yesterday. But hopefully tomorrow sometime we'll have this publicly available. You know, technically it already is, but... Alright, yeah. Yeah. And I can't do politics like that. My tongue is not brown in colour, we'll say. It never has been, never will be. I will do what I need to do, and I'll do it willingly, you know. But don't expect me to grovel for it. I used to hate positions where I had to give an opinion about somebody as well. It's like when I was in Virgin Media, I was reasonably good at first time resolves, they call it. All right, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I was good at talking to customers, but because of that then, when they identified other agents that were having issues with customer first-time resolutions, they like, oh yeah, Gareth knows how to do that, he's really good. Gareth, would you like to buddy with this person you have for like today and give him some feedback? And it's like, I don't want to give my mate feedback on their call, especially if they've been there longer than me. You know, but, you know, it's the way it is. Okay, I did not want to do this. I honestly did not want to kill you, but oddly enough, that meat will come in handy. Right, I need to make some room for this meat now, that's the only problem. What can we get rid of? I will just eat that one. There's nothing else I can really get rid of here, is it? Alright, I'll get rid of that. Fine. Somebody can find a random first level hammer. Good luck on them. But I can do with grabbing that meat to take back for other people to cook. And I didn't make Sergeant because of my mouth. Right, to be honest with you, as I mentioned before, I tried at Biggin Hill to become Sergeant Aircrew, and they said I was too quiet. Physically, I was on top of my game. Mentally, you know, A's across the board for the selection, but yeah, I just didn't have that attitude. Because if you go in at Sergeant, you need to have a big bushy moustache and be able to shout. the best person I've seen in Hollywood, unfortunately, playing the role of a sergeant. Is it Sam? Can't remember his name. The guy with the moustache. He was in that film with Mel Gibson. The one about, was it the beginning of the Korean War? We Were Soldiers. I absolutely think he epitomizes the perfect sergeant to me. Yeah, I can't be a yes person. Although I just said yes then, but there we go. Right, okay, let's head back, drop off this stuff, and then go out killing some more of those newts, because that meat will come in handy for everybody else. Trying to remember that guy's name, Sam something. I don't think it's Sam Neill, because I thought that's another actor. Yeah, but We Were Soldiers, I love that film. I think I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. I know it's heavily Hollywoodized, but it does give us some sense of it. Once again, I am lost as what direction I'm actually going here. Pardon me. Like earlier on with this show about Am getting lost, I was wandering around. No room in inventory. Yeah, I gotta come back with that. Yeah. Yeah, Zulu, a brilliant film. And the sergeant in that, oh my god, he was the epitome of what a sergeant is all about. In my mind, anyway. Obviously, cares for everybody, you know, all those men underneath him in his own way, knows them all by name, but keeps them all in check, you know, and keeps the morale up, as it were. The bit that gets me is obviously when they start singing, when the Welsh baritones start singing. Oh, crikey. I'm not saying my eyes might water, you know, or there might be onions in the room when that song starts, when they start singing that song, but oh my god. Even now thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. And for me being Welsh as well, you know, and both my grandfather and my brother were in the Welsh. Okay, looks like we're going to have to make another box to put meat in, I think. Fair enough. Let's be nice to everybody. We'll have one for some meat. Not much meat, but just some meat. Alright, let's grab that back. Yeah, it's because we live in the mines. right. They only let us out to feed us, see. I suppose if you go back a little bit with like Welsh history, though, right? No slagging off current English people, we'll say for the moment, but if you go back on Welsh history, at least in South Wales, you have a lot of animosity between the English and the Welsh, because when the English barons and the lords came over with their money, and basically, you know, we were working in the mines or we were working in like the tin works and stuff like that. It was hard work, and for very little money. You know, so we learned to make do with what we had. You know, and the sense of community in the Welsh villages is very high. Oh my god, yeah. I can really sympathise with her then. Because like 5 years ago, I did a 10k fun run. I think I might have mentioned it. And yeah, you know, I was limping across the starting line, let alone the end, the finishing line. Didn't have a fracture, but granted, you know. We've got some more berries to go in here. Oh, fine, I'll put them in there as well. Right. We're starting to build up a nice little stash just to take the edge off for people. So some uncooked meat so they can pick it up and then learn the recipes, as it were. Actually, let me put... I could put the thing on top of this now, can't I? So we want that one. No, we don't. Right. Okay, we're going to want that up on there. For starters. Then we're going to want that on there. Right. But I need to burn something now to get some coal, so I can put a sign above it. But we'll go out and get some more meat first. Come to me, little piggy. Come here. Right then, let's head back over to... Where was that water by? It was up there, wasn't it? Right. Oh, you're going to enjoy this, right? Last night, there I was, chilling. And I noticed Clumsy Clicker was doing a live stream of their community server. So I thought I'll jump on. You know, so jumped on the actual server. And we went on a boating trip. Right, let's just say the serpent got us all. Right, but as it sunk the boat, there was a leviathan in the water nearby. So we all swam to the leviathan. Right, so we're all standing on top of this leviathan and thinking, this is going to sink any moment now. And we're all going to die regardless, you know. So I thought, well, we could do the log out trick, jump to another server, drop our stuff off, then let ourselves die and all that. So while we were there, we were all frantically harvesting as much of that chitin off the back of the leviathan before it sunk. And then we all logged out while we were in the water before we could drown. It was funny. But then when we logged back in, then obviously we're all still in the water, innit? Oh, I can hear bees. Okay, well I'm not going to take the bees. I want to leave that for somebody else to discover. But yeah, but what I just logged back in after I dropped my stuff off, and then deliberately died by losing my stamina in the water. But everybody else was like trying to milk it. As weird as it sounds, they would swim so far, log out, log back in, stamina back up at full, carry on swimming a bit more, log out, log back in, swim a bit more, until they got to shore, But I was like, oh, I'd be done with that, mate. I'm just going to die and then log out and come back and on my bed, But then we were like, did a land-based rescue then, because where they managed to find land, it was like miles and miles away. So we had to run from the base, taking a portal with us to find where they were on the land, then set up a portal then for them to jump through and come back home. But it was entertaining, nonetheless. But yeah, if you've ever seen Clumsy Clicker on Twitch, enjoyable. She's ex-Air Force, American Air Force, and her partner is as well. So you might have a couple of things in common, sort of thing. But they now run a community server as well via their Discord. Younger than us, unfortunately, or at least younger than me, anyway. But she has a collection of ducks, right? Toy ducks, bath ducks, the ones I'm on about. And her husband, every time she talks about her ducks, her husband will just type into the chat, yeah, she has a collection of D asterisk asterisk KS. Yeah. And then I did mention, a long time ago, a friend of mine had a daughter that was just turning 18. And I got on well with all the family, all her sons and daughters. And when her daughter turned 18, I thought, I gotta be the silly uncle, as it were, even though I wasn't the uncle. So I got her a rubber duck for her 18th birthday. This rubber duck required batteries. Her brother was grinning from ear to ear when he saw it. Only I could do that. But I get that sense of humour from my mother. Her mind is filthy, my mother. Even if she's the most Jewish, non-Jewish mother ever. She'd come home every week. She was the cleaner for the vicar. And the vicar would tell her dirty jokes. And she'd be coming back to me and telling me them. And tell my other brother would be, oh, Mum, you're not supposed to be saying things like that. And I'd be just laughing with her. But then we did both used to work behind the bar together, so, I got that slightly different bond with my mother, sort of thing. Yeah. At the end of the day, they're human. They got a sense of humour. They like to have a bit of a laugh now and then. And it's the least person you'd expect. But, like a vicar or padre, they have a life that they see things that we don't normally see, like deaths and whatnot and stuff like that. And they have to put up with that. They see people at their worst. So yeah, sometimes they need to have a good sense of humour. Just like comedians, you tend to find comedians tend to be people that have a very dark personal life or very troubled life. Look at Robin Williams. Was it last year? Oh, my hammer! I found my hammer. Oh, no room in my inventory again. Right then, what we got? We got 4 more there. We're not doing that much, really, are we? It just seems to be, I'm just filling up my stash all the time with just junk. But that's what we need. Perhaps I need to focus and only get meat this time. Oh, let's head back. And, oh, forget it. Actually, we'll just go for a wander. We can head back later. Let's just explore this map. So we got this island that we're on. Right. As I say, it's quite a large island. Them I want. And there's only really speaking black forest or meadows on this island, thankfully. There's no like swamp attached to it. And it's got plenty of room for people to spread out, which is handy. So they could have several little communities and all still be on a central island. Let's go across here. Talking about Padres though, I used to enjoy MASH. Well, I still enjoy MASH. I've actually got the entire series of MASH on DVD. Why can I not pick up the mushrooms? What have we got that is stopping me? Fine, let's get rid of the resin. Yeah, the only show I know that ran longer than the Korean War. But it was very groundbreaking, that was. It was very groundbreaking, that show. One of the first shows to have the concept of multiple plots running through. You know, like a main story and a sub-story. They were like pioneered that sort of idea. Because you'd always have like, and even having a story arc over a couple of episodes was first done on that show, I think. And considering it was only meant as a comedy, yeah, it covered a lot of social issues and themes, and it was a commentary on how people thought about the Vietnam War at the time. It's like Star Trek was groundbreaking in a lot of things as well, because that became a vehicle for Roddenberry to explore political issues. Alright, he was he? He was like, Radar's cute though. I know it's so daft, but he was like the Padre. They were both innocents. You know? Radar was a child physically sort of thing, and the Padre was a child in spirit. You know? I put the film on a couple of weeks ago to show my son. And it was nice to see how many of the actors that were actually in it that went into the series. Not all of them, but like Radar was in it from the beginning. Hot Lips was in it from the beginning. Hot Lips Houlihan. The Padre was played by somebody else, unfortunately. The guy who played Odo in Deep Space Nine. Yeah, everybody else was wisecracking and whatnot, but yeah, a lot of the jokes would go over the Padre's head. You know, and he kept that sort of purity all the way through it. And, you know, and his story arc developed as well, especially when later on he became blind. You know, it was a bit sad, but, you know, he still wanted to pursue his career, as it were, and he still wanted to maintain the mission in Korea when everybody else was leaving, like. Now, not quite the same, but the word mission just got me thinking about it. It's not an army film or even an army series. It's an old film, right? But it's another one of those ones that will get me going. Don't ask me the why. Ooh, skeletons. Go away. In the Sixth Happiness. With all the children walking over the mountain sort of thing. And they all singing that song, This Old Man. Oh, you've never seen it? Into the Sixth Happiness. It's based on a true story. Right? It's quite an old film. Right? And you might have seen it when you was a kid. You never know. But basically, Gladys Emmanuel, I think her name was. Welsh woman, wanted to become a missionary. But she was from a village background. And the missionary service was of the opinion of, you need to come from like a bit of wealth, as it were. Right? So she showed up in London at the missionary service, saying I want to become a missionary, and they explained, well, look, it's not that easy. And they put barriers in front of her. And one of those barriers was, well, the price of a ticket alone would cost like £100, we'll say. So she said, fine, £100 it is. Okay. So she went to the train station, she took out her money and said, here's a £5 deposit on a train ticket to China. And then she got herself a job working as a housemaid, and every week she went back to that train station and said, here's like another £3, here's another £4, and so on. Until she had enough to get the train ticket. Then she went out on the train to China, showed up at the missionary that was being run by this elderly woman. And basically this old woman was running like a pit stop for travellers, for people with their mule trains travelling through. And she would feed them like porridge or whatever whilst telling them a story about Jesus, sort of thing. End result, this woman sort of takes over the mission. The old woman dies. There's war breaks out in China. Loads of kids are orphaned, are left at the doorsteps of this mission. And she needs to get them out of this village and somewhere safe. And as she's going through the mountains, going from one village to the next, she ends up just getting more and more kids as people hear that she's trying to get away. And by the time she shows up at this other mission, she's got some like 500 kids following her. And it's all based on a true story. But she gets the kids singing this song called This Old Man, he had... I can't remember the words now, but you probably do know the song. But yeah. So it is a true story. Obviously a little bit, even in the old black and white days, because this is like black and white / colour on that edge, like, you can tell it's just about colour, but barely. But yeah, he obviously Hollywoodized it a little bit. But yeah, it is based on a true story. Something for you to Google. Gladys Emmanuel is the woman. But I think it was set... There was an era of Welsh missionaries, the Welsh revival in 1904. So I think it was set around about that sort of time-ish. Maybe a little bit later. I am once again going in a completely wrong direction to get back to base. Me and my mother, we are fonts of human knowledge when it comes to old films. We only argue over which version we like the most. Like, I'll say I like Goodbye Mr. Chips with Peter O'Toole, the colour version. And she said, no, I like the black and white original version. Oh, maybe I'm getting that Gladys mixed up then, is it? Gladys something her name was. Yes, okay. Unless they honoured her with that name. Sure, it's Gladys something. Oh my God, Gladys Emmanuel. It'd be embarrassing if it's not Gladys Emmanuel, though. Oh yes, her with the big bosom. It seems strange watching that that series still open all hours. You know, it's a perfect fit, but it just seems like odd because he's almost he's become, you know, the old owner completely. You know, because David Yates was the kid in the first one, the first series, and now he's the owner in this one, and just completely replaced. Was it Ronnie Barker? Right, Linda Barron. All right, okay. I'm sure she did a kiddies program a few years back, where she like flies around in this like aeroplane. Right, let's drop these supplies off. What is the time? Well, that's what I've turned. I pretty much do exactly the same. But before I always did that, I'd watch everything and anything. The good old days we only had like 3 or 4 channels, you know, or 2 channels. But yeah, pretty much nowadays, my TV downstairs is connected to my computer downstairs. It's not. Well, the Virgin box isn't even connected to it. But yeah, because I can just watch things like on BBC iPlayer or ITV Player or whatever, or 5 on demand. You know, but most of the stuff that I tend to watch, I cough mysteriously find on my hard drive. Right, let's put that there. Oh, my father visited yesterday with my birthday card for today. Right. And he was like, "You're in my world now." As soon as he got through the door, he sat down in it, and my computer was on. It's like, "Oh, let me just show you this. This is what Twitch is." Felt so sorry for him. Okay, let's put some. Shall I be nice and give people flint? Not groundbreaking, I suppose. Oops. Yeah, I think we got enough of that there as well. I need to burn 1 piece of meat just so that I can get some coal. Right, so let's just burn that 1 piece. And then I can put a sign above that one then. Great, is that all I've been... 50 minutes, is that all? Oh well, fair enough. I need to work backwards in my head now. I'm picking my mother up at 11:45, so that means I gotta like leave at 11:30. Then I gotta have a shower before that. Oh bugger! I meant to burn it, you muppet. Not cook it. Now I'm gonna waste another one. Oh well, somebody's having a cooked piece of meat then. Oh yeah. Put it on there and walk away. Forget it exists. Look at the rain outside. Yeah, this is annoying to me, right? I know it sounds a bit practical, but this weather damage stuff, because this is no mods as well. Anything that isn't covered by a roof will get damaged by the weather. So even like the steps outside on the porch have to have a roof above them, you know. Unless you want to be constantly repairing stuff. Yeah. But have you got any suggestions for anything else I could perhaps put in here for like a starting thing for people? Right, that's coal now. So let's go get a piece of wood. Yeah, less is more, fair enough. So we'll just put this one sign up by here and then we'll pretty much call it quits then. Raw meat. We shall leave well. Yeah, okay. Hey with me. I'll eat that one. Now it is all raw meat. Right, so yeah, they got pretty much everything that they could possibly think. Oh, wait there. Alright. Just to annoy you, I'm not going to put a chest over this side. Right, because I know that will wind you up. Look, see? Nothing by here. Oh, it'll probably bug me. I'll probably have to put something there at some point. Oh, that's funny. Oh, right. I could probably put... Would that work? Yeah, let's try and do that then. I need that one. Put that above there. And that up there. We'll keep it a nice even number. Yeah, so they got lighting above the workbench. Right. Yeah, that, at least they should be able to, you know, say when the torches go out, they should be okay with that. Right. What's left? Have we got a trimber there? I'm just potching about now, basically. Things like this bug me if I know I haven't done them. You don't need the trim on there, but you know, it's the way it is. I used to put a trimber there, on the floor by there, but then I couldn't step over it. I'd be going up the stairs like and then I'd be stuck, and I'd have to like hop over the last bit, you know. So I got rid of any trims I put there. Right, so probably some point this afternoon, me and the boy will probably stress test it with all of 2 characters playing at the same time. Right, and beyond that, he's got to sort out the DNS, because if you give out a public IP, then obviously people can get into my computer, which we don't want. So we're going to run a virtual DNS on a website somewhere that will redirect it to us without people knowing what the IP address is. So that should be okay. And once that's done, then we should be good. I say, with it being inside a Docker, it's relatively secure. But just knowing the IP address, they don't have to go to the Docker if they know the IP address. They can go to a different port or whatever. But yeah. So to be honest, I'm actually going to call this a shorter stream today. As I say, it's my birthday. So I got other things I do need to do, like have a shower, my once a year shower, perhaps even have a little trim of my beard. And try and look smart for my mommy and my girlfriend. So thanks for watching. Okay, nice chatting as always. Right, and I'll undoubtedly see you. Hopefully see you tomorrow morning. I'll probably come back on in some capacity mid-afternoon for a little bit, but that'll probably just be on the game after I come back from my mother's meal, and then I'll probably go out to say to my girlfriends, and then I'll probably come back from that about 10ish, and I'll probably come onto the computer again, but once again it will be to play or watch, not to actually stream. But I'll catch you tomorrow morning for definite. Alright? Bye for now then. Ta-da.